It's difficult for parents because signs that some teenagers might be displaying might be just because they're teenagers and going through those years. Being withdrawn, if they're an outgoing teenager and then all of a sudden they're becoming withdrawn, they're not wanting to talk to their parents as much at home, they're becoming secretive, they're hiding things, they're hiding phones and belongings, staying out longer than they should do. If you're not really that aware of their friend circles, coming home maybe with marks and bruises, injuries you're not aware of and they can't easily explain. And especially as well, an ongoing theme seems to be the materialistic side of things. So all of a sudden, if your child's coming home with expensive Air Force One trainers or expensive clothes, and there's no real explanation as to how they could afford those. I think those are really big telltale signs in terms of grooming, the older gang members grooming young children effectively. And I think that's really key to look out for.
I think you're right, because that's what I was also thinking, because I believe that sometimes parents, we are blind. The sun is there, but we don't see it. Why we don't see it, not because we are bad parents, it's only because the education we give to our kids, which is school, church, all these things, we believe on them. But the sun is there. Why you just said that, expensive things, because boys today, they love nice trainers. So that's the small things. You see that your son buys something, you didn't give him the money, but it's called that things. Sometimes we don't want to look at that, but I think we have to open our eyes to start to look at that. When it starts to come, you can see it if you got all the sun. I think you just say everything that parents have to open their eyes. We are blind, but I think we need to become more involved, ask questions, find out, and have a good communication with our kids. We give them a value. So the media can do what they want, or Facebook, everything. But if you have a good communication with your child, because sometimes parents, we're judging them too much. We don't listen to them. We don't have that time with them. We think that we can tell them, go do this, because I was raised like that. I never tell my, you cannot talk when your parents talk. You're not allowed to say anything they don't want you to say. So if we bring this mentality in this country, that's make us to lose our kids, because we don't listen to them. I think most of the parents, they don't listen to the kids. I know that the media is there, but if you are close to your child, you make a good communication. Try to be open to him. Don't judge him. Don't push him away. Your child will come to you. They will tell you things, because often that you can give him a good advice, but not judging him, not insulting him. Because if you do that, that they run away, they're not going to come to you. I never get that chance before. My son, Champion, he started to bring new things, but I'm talking from my experience. I saw it, but I didn't want to know, because I don't know why I didn't want to know. It's bad, because only small things is changing your son's life, and it can even take your son's life away from you forever. Like me, I lost my son. But if I open my eyes on time, if I have a chance to meet someone like you telling me that this is the son, maybe my son will be alive, I don't know. But at least I'll have to know. So parents, we have to stop to be blunt. What I can say, we have to start to be more listen and look at the son to try to identify who your really son is. Because the education we give in the house is not everything. Outside is something else. And it's not easy for the kids also, because they want to fight outside to have some identity, which is hard to have it. So I think we have to all to work together. That's what I can say. It's hard.
No, it is. I think there is an element of kids wanting to have an identity, as you say, a belonging. Join a gang, will take you into the gang, and that's how it's sold to them as a bit of a dream, really. You'll come into this family, we'll look after you. And a lot of children are easily bought into the gangs in terms of materialistic side of things. I'll buy you these trainers, you come deliver this package, you work for this gang, we'll look after you. And I think it's really hard for children to turn down, and it's very easy for them to get caught into a situation. They're good kids, a lot of these kids get caught into a situation that they can't get out of, and that's what we really want to try and stop at that early stage before they come to notice of the police, is really try and stop them getting into that situation in the first place. And like you say, it's going to be working together, education, schools having a really big input. I think is massively important in secondary school. We know that a lot of grooming does happen in schools, so I think that's really key to get the messaging out to young children to stop this from happening in the first place.
True.
I wanted to ask, how do you think the Black Lives Matter movement has changed how young black men on the street interact with police, and how that plays into gangs in London?
I mean, I think that's a good question. I think it's probably disengaged our youth of today, maybe more so with the police, and that's obviously something we're trying to combat and build closer relationships. So I think if anything, that has maybe built more of a distrust, and we would need to try and bridge that gap to stop that from distrust from happening. And the only way we can do that is trying to work with our young children, and obviously meeting Peggy today and getting the word across that we're here to actually try and help and divert children away from gangs. It's not all about enforcement and putting people in prison, which is a part of our job obviously, but working with children is really key and trying to stop it from happening.
Even I know that my son Champion used to tell me that, Mom, when I talk to the police, you say to me, don't trust them. Don't trust them, Mom. Don't trust them. I don't trust them. So I'm still thinking why the kids, they think that they cannot trust the police. Because I know that police is someone you can trust, you can talk to. They need to protect you. You have to feel safe. But why these kids, they don't feeling safe with police? That's the hard part, which I don't understand. They don't want to talk to the police. They don't want nothing to do with the police. They don't take police like someone they can help them. They take police like an enemy, so which is hard. But I can say also police, I think now I can say the situation is getting worse because it's not getting better. But what I can say, police, they're doing a little bit good because they're trying to get close to the families. And before, what I'll say now, if the police, they cannot, because you're working with the gang, and sometimes the things I don't like a little bit about what police doing, if you know someone child is in the gang, the least things you can do, knock the door, look for the parents, pass the message to them. Because before, I remember the police, they'll knock my door, they're looking for my son, he was 16. Why are you looking for my son? They don't talk to me. It's not here, we're not gonna talk to you. You have to tell me it's my son, you understand? That's the thing parents, they lost. So if police now, they know that your son is the gang or anything bad, knock to the door, find the parents, talk to them. You save life, because some parents, they don't know nothing. Because kids, they look very polite in the house, but outside, they are gangs, the killing, the stabbing. They go in church even Sunday. But police need to have this communication, true communication with the parents, to tell them your son is in the gang. If you don't do this, he will die. Pass the message and let us all together to work together and to find something good which is going to save lives. In my experience, I learn in the bad way. I wish I can learn in the good way, like any parent who can watch this video or listen to this. If it didn't happen to him yet, she's lucky because the message come to you. But I didn't have that chance. What I can say to parents, let's have communication. I think when I say good communication is the key, because sometimes parents, we don't have communication. We do what we want, which is good. We give them the value. We send them to school. We take them to church. But the world is not only that. We have to change. And to change that, we need to have communication. When I say communication, good communication. Don't judge your child. Stop and listen to them. Try to know what they want. So all together in the house, we can be strong enough to fight people outside. Because if we are weak in the house, no communication, our kids, they're going outside, they listen to someone else, and that person can tell them anything. Like what happened to my son, it impacts my life. Till today, I think till I'll die, it impacts my kids. Every day, even when I pray with my kids, they pray for Champion, they pray for his birthday, which has hurt me a lot as a parent. No one can know how we feel when we lost a child. There are a lot of parents losing a child today in this country, and they're suffering. The second thing I want to say to the boys, young boys, when you're outside there, before you get in a fight, think about your life. Your life is more value for anything. Because the people you're fighting, no one will miss you. But your mom and your brother, your siblings, that's the people that will suffer for the rest of their life. So before you get in the gang, before you engage in the fight, think about the people you love. I think if my son Champion was alive today, I believe Champion, if he know that that day he's supposed to die, he will never get to that fight because he will think about me. He never want me to suffer. He loves me a lot. I can still feel his love till today. So don't get in the fight. It's going to make you to lose your life for nothing, something stupid. Don't get engaged with the gang. It's not going to bring you happiness in the future. Only enemies. Think about parents sometimes. When we give birth to you, it's not for you to be a gang. And I believe no parents don't want to have a child as a criminals. It's a shame. It's not good. Most of the parents, when your child is in the prison, they don't tell the family that my son is in the prison. Why? Because they're feeling sorry to say that. So when you do bad things, think about your family. Think about the value. Think about the people you love. And after you can decide what is good and bad.